welcome to RPG Book Club Longcast, a podcast where we play a little bit of a long video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I am Sam Allman.
I'm Maddie Grace Webben.
I'm David Bernard Hauk.
And today we'll be playing part 3 of part 2 of .hack and talking about everything up until we beat the main bad guy and everything is solved and there's still 10 hours of game left, I guess. Whatever the fuck.
I guess.
We're going to play up until
a
lot
happens
of
this week.
Happens, basically.
Yeah. To be more specific, we are saving at the first chance you get to and you get transported to Net Slum Tartarga. But a lot of shit happens to get us there.
Remember how in Volume 1 we were complaining nothing ever happens?
They saved it all for this week.
And yet still there's filler this week.
They're never. What are they going to do? Not have filler?
Yeah, true.
That's how it works. But before we get started, Bernard, pimp your other podcasts. And
I do a podcast called Bernard Remembers, which is sort of a low-key audio version of a Let's Play where I just play a game and talk about what's happening in it and sometimes make jokes. And sometimes those jokes are funny. And it's a chill, good time.
Real quick, I'm going to say yet another thing that I like about Bernard's podcast. I feel like Bernard writes, he has a very consistent way in language that he consistently uses throughout the whole thing. Like literally any time he's talking about a cutscene where a villain defeats a hero or a hero defeats a villain, he always says they get owned. Like he never says, and then Metal Face kills so and so, or Metal Face blows up so and so, or whatever. He's like, and then he totally owns Shulk. Of course, these are all references to Xenoblade Chronicles 1, but he does this through all of them, which I think that's just one example. Yes. But it's like now whenever I play a game, I think that I'm just like, yeah, like, and then we totally own spoilers Ovan. So anyway, just a good thing that he does.
Yeah, I make sort of a conscious effort to keep sort of like little trends going throughout each season of it just for fun, because I find that fun.
It's very fun.
It is fun.
People get owned a lot in Xenoblade.
People do get owned in like every cutscene, yeah. Which is why I picked up on that particular quirk that you do very obviously.
Yeah, I've now finished Xenoblade, and I can attest, people get owned a lot. All the time.
Yep.
It doesn't stop from keep happening over and over again. But other than all of that, let's listen to I don't know, there's a lot of good tracks this week. So much happened and they all had music. So we'll listen to something and then we'll start talking about the plot of this game. So, Bernard, do us the gargantuan task of telling us what the fuck happened this week.
Well, I was trying to read through my notes aloud to warm up before we started, and I was struggling reading these. So it might not be as high quality a vocal performance as you're used to from me. But so when we last left Haseo, he had just won the Sage Palace tournament, and Pi was like, come to Raven's at home. I've got news. So Haseo heads to Raven's at home. Pi says Yata is okay, but has closed his heart because of the terrible shock of CC Corp's betrayal. His pride is in ruins. He can no longer believe in anyone, even Pi. She's trying to have his admin rights reinstated. After the meeting, Haseo logs out and checks his email. Fucking Ovan emails us to say, Congratulations on your victory at the Sage Palace. Looks like you got past Sakaki. I'm very pleased to see how much you've grown. So didn't it strike you as odd how Sakaki, only a normal player, was able to absorb Ida's power by himself? The answer's simple. He got everything from me. The Ida particles, the means to control Ida's power, and the strategy to manipulate the CC Corp. That threat to spread Ida particles was just a bluff. You don't have to worry about that. I gave Sakaki Ida particles one at a time, each with instructions on their use. In other words, he didn't have any Ida particles left to use. The aftershocks of the data drain sent Sakaki into an outer dungeon, where he self-destructed. And now you've overcome another of the challenges I've sent your way. Congratulations, Saseo. That was a terrible Ovon voice, but
I don't know what the fuck that was, but that's okay.
I was trying to figure out an Ovon voice, but I can't actually like imitate people well. Unless it's Sakaki. I can get to the soul of Sakaki. Taiku emails to say he has something to talk to Aseo about in Ikelo's at home. But before that, we have lots more emails. CC Corp emails Aseo about his victory, but the email is really weird and says things like, sure, the company's making a bunch of weak apologies right now, but you're not going to let that get you down, are you? And yeah, it's weird.
Whoever's in charge of sending these emails is like really just getting real chummy with us. It is very cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Folks email Haseo, and Gaspard is in the next sentence. See, I told you I would be messing up. Folks email Haseo to congratulate him on his victory. Gaspard says Kennard is now a famous guild that has like 3 members. Syllabus says there's no more PKing in towns. Matsu says he hasn't given up hope of rebuilding Moontree. So it's time to head to Ikelo's at home. Taiku takes Aseo to a room which he calls the private room of the Sage Palace Emperor. Taiku is so chill about losing his position, Haseo asks why he's even in the world. There's lots of dialogue now, which I'm not sure is going to be important later or not, so I struggle taking notes. Taiku asks Haseo, when you lose a passion that was too intense, how do you fill the void of powerlessness it leaves behind? Haseo has no idea, but ruminates on how he's changed. Taiku says it seems Haseo has found a way to fill the void. He gives Haseo a weapon called Sealod, which requires like level 140 or something to equip, so we can't equip it now.
Nope, and we can't equip it by the end of the episode either.
Yeah. Haseo says he doesn't want the Sage Emperor room. As Haseo leaves, Taiku says he leaves Sirius and Alcade to Haseo. Once Haseo is gone, Taiku says, Haseo, what did the Forest of Pain teach you about life? Saku sends Haseo a short mail asking to speak with him. Haseo meets up with her, and she says she's going to quit the world because her job is done. Now that Haseo's there, there's no need for her anymore. She says her body only exists in the world, and her mind only exists inside of Bo. Saku is another personality within Bo. Bo was always bullied, so Saku was born to protect Bo. But now Haseo and the gang are looking after him. Haseo tells Saku not to leave. Saku says she was never meant to exist and is no longer needed, and nobody would be sad to see her leave. Saku runs off, but Haseo is worried about Bo living without her. Haseo logs out and checks his email.
Yeah, this whole subplot, I don't think I'm on Haseo's side with it. I think if Bo is coming to terms that like he's okay,
yeah. I think that's, I don't know.
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, it's weird. It's a tricky one. Haseo, I think Haseo just is really hung up on the idea that Saku is a real person.
Yeah,
because he's like, if a real person says y'all don't need me anymore, I'm just gonna go away forever and be alone now. You're like, no, don't.
Yeah.
But if it's not actually a real person, so first of all, yeah, I thought this is a wild plot line, huge twist. I was like, what the fuck? This suddenly got really interesting. But like, I feel like the best response is like, yeah, I guess makes sense. But like maybe like what's his long game here? Does Bo just continue to have this separate personality for his entire life? Like, although I will say, so these emails, you can respond in different ways. How did y'all respond to these emails?
Well, it's basically be an asshole to your friend or try and be understanding. And so I did understanding every time.
Yeah, me too. Well, they weren't all assholes. The first one kind of was, but the other ones were like, a lot of them was like, I'm going to go away now. And you can be like, well, if that's what you want to do, then sure. You know? Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I picked the no, don't every time. But I'm curious as to if it goes a different way if you pick. Well, I guess you never see Saku again after this point. So
yeah, you do. We're about to do a whole dungeon that involves Saku.
That's Bo.
That's Bo.
I thought Saku was there for part of it, but
nope.
I don't know.
Saku might appear. I could have forgotten because a lot happened this week, but I think Saku doesn't appear again aside from in emails. So maybe it doesn't really matter how you respond. You just never see Saku again. Anyway, yeah, I had a hard time finding these emails.
Yeah.
So it's like Haseo finally learned to be nice instead of mean, and now he's being nice in like the one situation where maybe that's not the right option. He's like, no, I have to say the nice thing when I get the email, right?
Well, I certainly do not know enough about dissociative identity disorder to say what's best for
and neither does
Bo.
Haseo.
Not at all.
Hiseo doesn't know anything about anything.
If Omega from the Discord is listening to this, you should totally, if you're not playing this game, watch like a Let's Play of this part and give us your like firsthand opinions on it, because I do not know enough and I would love to know more.
Agreed.
Yes.
So we get an email from Taiku saying a bunch of shit about the Forest of Pain and how Haseo and Taiku were both residents of the Forest of Pain. And he feels jealousy and impatience and hatred for that forest. And I don't know. I have no idea what he's talking about.
I wonder if that's from Dot Hat Roots or something.
Yeah, so here's...
Like, if they were supposed to know Taiku before or something.
I want to play a little game here. It's called Literal or Metaphor. I think that this is a lore thing, because remember, a lot of things happened prior to the start of this game. I think the Forest of Pain is an actual location that they had some kind of thing in. But also, he could just be being a weirdo who says shit like, I'm in a forest of pain, when he just means I'm sad. So I think, based on very scant context clues, that it's a literal forest of pain that at some point he and Haseo were both trapped in.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's literal. We'll have lots of other opportunities to play literal or metaphor this week.
Exactly.
Another email comes from CC Corp that's really weird, and it's talking about how the coronation has been postponed and ranking events at the arena have been suspended. And so basically we don't have time for that anymore. We've got bigger shit going on. So we're skipping that. After reading this email, Haseo's like, so you wrote that email. And I'm like, I don't know who wrote the email.
Yeah, he I guess Haseo does know something
It's the announcer. It's the announcer from the arena.
Yeah, I guess
that's right.
That makes sense.
I actually remembered thinking that, and then I forgot, because that was, again, I've forgotten everything that happened in the first half of this week because so much has happened.
Yes.
Bo emails saying, Saku's saying she'll leave. I tried my best to stop her, but she wouldn't listen. It's all my fault. Saku must be mad because I make trouble for her all the time. Big brother Haseo, please stop her. I don't want her to go away. I assume calling someone big brother name flows better in Japanese.
It 100% does.
Probably, yeah.
I believe big brother is just one word for one thing.
Yeah.
Pi emails saying Yata has disappeared in the real world. She says to assemble at Raven's at home. We see Yatta in front of a beast statue. Ovan walks up. Yatta accuses Ovan of controlling Sakaki. Ovan says he did it in order to move the clock forward. Yatta asks if his goal is to awaken the 8 epitaph users. Ovan says that's one of his processes, but his greatest concern for his plan, success, is Yatta. Yatta asks if this is because his avatar is not awakened. Yatta says he's better than the other epitaph users, better than Haseo, better than Ovan. He says he loved the world more than anyone. Ovan says what Yatta loved was aura. Yatta says these gods who come from another place to this world wouldn't return his feelings. They loved Ovan, not him. He says Ovan was blessed by aura and Ida both. Yatta wasn't chosen even though he loved them so much. Yatta screams. So what I like a few things here. I like that we have Aura, Ida, and Aina.
Yes.
Yep.
I like that Yatta is going to spend a good bit of this week just screaming how he loves a video game more than everyone else.
Yeah, this whole thing he's like,
gatekeeping. He's
like, it's not fair. I played this game for more hours than any other player. What do you mean I don't get to have the epic mount? It's not fair. I am the #1 fan of this game.
I'm getting more flashbacks to being on Blizzard customer support.
I have completed this raid so many times and I've not gotten this drop. It's not fair.
It's obviously a glitch. Please patch mods. Yeah, it really is funny when you think about it. It's like, oh, you just think that because you like the game the most, that makes you special. You're just the biggest fan. You're president of the fan club, but no one gives you any fucking respect.
I've been playing since beta, so you should give me an Overwatch key.
Oh my god. I will say when I'm just playing the game, I'm like it occurs to me this is silly, but I'm bought in. Like, I accept this, but also it is really fun to make fun of.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like at this point, I definitely am in the zone, and it does rule, and I care. But also, it is the absolute dumbest shit imaginable.
Yeah, we've really gone on a journey here on Longcast, because we started where we were like, man, this is vibes that everything is stupid, and now we're like, no, you see, his Morgana factor is epitaphed in his avatar, and we're all in.
Yes. So the gang gathers in the Serpent of Lore. In the chaos of CC Corp trying to find who to blame for the Sakaki incident, Pi got the admin rights for GU. Pi locates Yatta with the Serpent of Lore. The gang sees him writhe and scream as lights appear around him, and that awesome little "there's a avatar coming" sound effect plays. And they realize Yatta is the final epitaph user. Haseo, Pi, and a third party member rush to the area and find Yatta. Yatta growls that he alone, more than anyone, understands and loves the world. His avatar is summoned. It's going berserk. At least Haseo says it's going berserk, but to me it looks like it's just sitting there.
It is literally motionless, and his hands are making a prayer, and it's just like zen, not moving at all. It's like, oh my god, it's so scary. It's going so crazy.
I felt the same way, yeah. It's like, what? Okay, man.
But just in case, Haseo summons Skaith to fight it. After the battle with Yatta's avatar, Fidel, it starts spouting some spooky prophecy nonsense. It says, "The aberrant key born in thy left arm, the key of Twilight born in thy right arm, the final wave, the surge of rebirth shall become light and fill the world. Thou shalt lead to new gods. Thou shalt lead the new gods to their twilight. Thou destroyest and createst, thou powerless one, as the stirring footsteps of a giant shadow sound. O blessed be the little ones." It would have been great if Fidel had stumbled upon the prophecy as well. But no, that was just me.
Yeah, what this scene reminded me of is the Dragon Quest II's localization is really, really good. And this one was not.
And this is not, yeah. Dragon Quest II is the only game to literally ever do fake old-timey writing and it's good and not annoying.
Yeah. It's amazing. I love Dragon Quest 2 for that. But, yeah, I don't know. But back in the area, Pi rushes to Yatta's side. He wakes up and says his avatar went berserk. Even though he loves and understands the world more than anyone else, the world rejects his love. He says he cannot be loved. Pi says that's because he doesn't even try to accept the love other people give to him. Yatta says what he wants...
Imagine being like that.
Wait, so if Sakaki is canonically a 12-year-old, now I just imagine that so is Yatta. Yatta's just this 12-year-old boy who got his toy taken away from him, and he's just throwing.
Well, he does also somehow literally work for. He also kind of works for CC Corp, I guess.
I don't exactly remember how.
It's probably one of those stupid things where they convince the fans that the best way to be the biggest fan is to do unimaginable amounts of unpaid labor for your company, like Google does. Those people are like the most cucked people on the planet. Anyway, it's like that maybe.
Is Yatta a cuck the greatest thread in the history of forums?
Yatta is absolutely not like a literal cuck, but no, Yatta is extremely cucked, for sure. Cuck mindset. He's also a simp.
Anyway.
He's a simp for the world.
Anyway. Where was I? Pi says that's because he doesn't even try to accept the love other people give to him. Yatta says what he wants is to be recognized by the world. Pi asks if that means others don't matter. She says he has to think about others' feelings, that he's not in this world alone. Pi says we'd better leave Yatta to her for a while, and that she'll contact us soon. We see Ovan appear in the white void from the beginning of the game. He says the 8 Epitaph users have awakened, but he's shocked to see that Aina is gone. Pi emails to say Yatta has been reinstated as GU's leader, and that she's searching for Ovan now. Yatta emails saying that there are now 7 Epitaph users in GU, including him. The only remaining one is the Epitaph of Rebirth, which is Ovan. So Ovan is going to move on to the next phase of his plan, and Pi's going to look for Ovan while he analyzes Fidel's prophecy. Yatta sends another email talking about old times before Haseo and Ovan met. Apparently Yatta and Ovan were a power couple of hackers. But then Ovan got weird, and his arm got weird, and he started doing the Twilight Brigade.
Which is Haseo's old guild.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Started the Twilight Brigade to search for the key of Twilight. And Yatta's like, I don't know why he changed, or why Ida took up residence inside him, or why people are becoming lost ones. I don't understand any of it. And I'm like, thank you, Yatta.
Same.
Saku emails saying, so I hear Bo sent you an email or something. Just so you know, I don't plan on listening to anything you say. You know, I was born because Bo was crying all by himself, but Bo's not alone anymore. He's got you guys, so I'm going to vanish now. This is for the best, especially for Bo. And I think it's at this point you can start sending emails and conversing back and forth, which is neat.
Yeah.
Very neat.
It's not something that this game usually does.
Yeah, I've noticed it more this time, and I don't know if I got better at it than last games, but with Pi there was one earlier too where you could keep talking like 5 emails after the plot important one and just like support her, and if you answered the right one you would be able to respond again and keep talking. And I don't know if they were in the last ones and I just picked the wrong thing, or
well, the first game had a very lengthy one with Adelie. But yeah, since then the game, I don't know if I've been doing it as much, or if I just haven't been paying as much attention.
Pi emails saying she's located an Ida signal in Breg Epina and to come to the Chaos Gate right away. We're like, what the fuck? Ida's only supposed to be in areas. So we hurry to log in. We see Bo wandering the back streets of Breg Epina. Aina appears next to him. And the weird part is that they recognize each other. Bo asks Ina if she wants to play together. Ida bubbles appear around her. Haseo and Pi meet at the Chaos Gate and head to the point where the Ida signal is coming from. They find Bo and Ina staring at Ida bubbles. They disappear. Pi says she can use area hacking to follow them. The party warps to an outer dungeon. They search for Bo, but it appears he's moved to another area where they can't track him. Pi says she'll continue the search for Bo and contact us later. Haseo logs out and checks his email. Gaspard emails Haseo saying there's a post on the forums about a ghost girl, but he's not afraid of ghosts. There's no such thing. In the forums,
I will point out that the title of this email is in fact phrased like a Ghostbusters reference. It is in fact titled "I Ain't Afraid of No Ghosts," and I'm like, of course. I guess you know what? Actually, you know what? I'll give it a pass because you could believe that in the fiction of the game, the characters who are literally people in the modern world playing an MMO would reference Ghostbusters. So never mind, it's fine. It makes sense, actually.
But I wouldn't like it when they did.
That's true. I wouldn't. Yes, I would be annoyed if someone did that in real life.
So I'm still annoyed. Anyway, in the forums, a user named Big Mountain says he met a little ghost girl in gothic clothes who said she wanted to play with him, and after said she was tired, so she'd log out, and then she vanished before his eyes. I'm guessing in a way that's not the usual logging out kind of vanishing before your eyes.
Yeah, I think one of the responses there
at some
or
point
something, he clarifies
that,
there was no log out animation. The character just disappeared.
They disappeared in a ghost-like manner instead of a normal-like manner.
And it couldn't just be that the animation didn't play. There's a ghost.
Yeah, no, the game just glitched.
The people who frequent the Rumors forum are all like everything is ghosts. They're all having a hoot and a holler of a time. Yeah. So they of course
just extremely buggy.
Yeah, it really is.
That's all it is. It's just a really buggy game, and every time there's a bug, they're like, "Oh yeah, it was a ghost." Total. This game's got so much lore. Damn.
After checking the forums, Haseo gets an email from Pi saying that the description of the girl that Big Mountain mentioned is it matches the person that they saw with Bo. So Pi wants us to go and find Big Mountain and interrogate him. So Haseo finds Big Mountain, but Big Mountain doesn't want to talk and logs off. Haseo hears someone scream near the bike shop and heads that way. And at this point, it occurs to me, in a game where everyone is using speech to text to speech, what must an MMO town sound like?
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
That's the worst soundscape I can imagine.
Well, it sounds the same way that FF14 and any other MMO looks until you go into the settings and turn off everyone's username. And turn on most of the UI. Like when I first started playing FF14, I'm like, wow, this game is so pretty. It's so beautiful. I love the graphics. And then I go into the first town and it's like 70% of your screen is filled with words. And it's like, who? This is how every MMO is. It's how they've always been. And at some point we just decided that this was okay. And it's not okay. Because literally, if you have 100 different people all congregating in the middle of the area, all their usernames are superimposed on top of each other. It's hideous, and it gives me a fucking panic attack to look at this awful garbage of graphic design. I'm not even going to blame the FF14 devs because every MMO does this. Presumably because the MMO genre was mostly invented by Westerners, and as we've talked about many times, Western video game developers do not know what beauty is or aesthetics. Western PC developers, I should say, do not know what aesthetics are. So when something is just the ugliest shit you've ever seen in your life, like Ultima 7, they're like, I don't see a problem here. Anyway, the point is, I turned all that shit off, and now the game's beautiful, but I'm guessing that that's what it sounds like, basically. Like, it just is a constant awfulness of people saying like selling rune essence or LFG.
Anyway, somehow above
Did
all
someone
that,
say Thunder Fury, Blessed Blade of the Windseeker?
Doing head pats. People making love.
Somehow over all that, Haseo hears someone scream. And so the scream comes from the bike shop, so he heads that way, and the person who screamed is Pyrrhus III. He says a hacked PC has appeared and that he'll make it his life's work to vanquish that ghost. He says the ghost is in Sigma fading moonflower glory and runs off. Haseo invites Pi and heads to the area. When they get there, Pyrrhus III runs up and says he couldn't find the ghost. He logs out. Pi says we should try area hacking here to see if we can find her. Yes. It's his life mission to find the ghost. And then he's like, I couldn't find the ghost.
Bye.
Since we're talking about Pyrrhus the third, I want to bring up an important fact that we've glossed over each time. Every time you see him for the first time in each game, he has a brand new anime opening theme that plays behind him while he plays. And it's so good every time.
Because every time he forgets that you've already met him and have hung out many times.
I was wondering when he'd finally show up in Volume 3. I wouldn't be surprised if this is his only appearance. So Pi and Haseo and party member number 3 find their way to another outer dungeon. The party finds Bo and Aina. Bo says Ina's his friend. Then Ina starts talking about hatred, love, joy, sadness. She asks Bo why, when he is only one, he is also two. Ina disappears in some Ida bubbles. The party leaves with Bo. Bo apologizes for worrying them and logs out. Pi says she's going to investigate what's happened and contact Haseo later. Haseo logs out and checks his email. And Terrace invites Haseo on a quest.
Yay!
Hooray! We do the quest. It takes forever and is very silly.
It has all these characters with all of this dialogue, and I'm like, none of this matters. Why do these characters need to have voiced cutscenes? I do not care. I believe the gist of the plot is that Antares finagles two PKs who I guess had a falling out to become friends again, I guess?
I think what must have happened is some person somewhere was like, wait, did Bordeaux and her team become lost ones when Haseo used his avatar on them? And they decided we have to have closure for that.
Yeah. Must have been.
So we do that quest.
Yeah, we do. It takes like an hour. You start it and it's like, oh hey, you have to go win 10 PK fights, and I thought it was going to be like in the Ida server where you just had like 10 mobs and they were PK fights. No, it is like 10 cutscene mini boss fights in a row.
To be fair, it's not. Thankfully, I was happy to learn it's not literally 10 fights because it's actually 10 PKs,
characters,
but you fight more than one at a time. I think it's probably like 5 fights. Thank goodness, because basically after you get past a couple of them, Haseo was like, okay, we've gotten 6 of them, only 4 more. And I was like, no, oh, thank God. Oh, and also there are still normal monsters in this dungeon. It is a normal... Oh, at this point in the game,
large dungeon.
Every dungeon is 3 floors at this point. There's no 3-floor dungeons anymore. They got rid of them.
Yeah. So much so that when I was doing the forum side quest this week, it's a 1-room dungeon. You just walk in. There's a platform, and then there's the thing you got to do. And I'm like, you can do this still. This is still
allowed.
The code still exists in this game. I didn't know that.
So Pi emails us saying that she has something to tell us regarding Fidel's prophecy. We rush to Raven's at home. Ovan enters the white void and wonders where Ina went. We see a flashback of the two of them surrounded by books in a void. Ina promises to get better if Ovan continues to read to her. Ida appears and zooms towards Ina. Ovan blocks it with his arm, and he's overtaken by Ida. His eyes turn black. Some cool filmmaking happens, which shows Ovan attacking Ina without actually showing it.
It's cool.
Also, I want to quickly point out, this is when his eyes turn black. It's the exact same process as what happened to Haseo at the tournament, but when it happened to Haseo, he like overcame it and his eyes got back to normal, whereas Ovan doesn't. So like it's like very clearly whatever it is, it's like the same thing.
Yes. In the present, Ina appears behind Ovan. He's happy to see her, but wonders if Ida has done something to her. Ida bubbles around her. I realize that sounds weird because I usually say Ida bubbles appear around her, but Ida is bubbling around her. Ovan growls at his caged arm, asking if it's going to steal everything from him. He says there's no more time. The last resort, ... No, it was the only resort from the start, ... In the Serpent of Lore, Yatta and Pi address the epitaph users. Fidel is not there. Pi says they can interpret Fidel's prophecy as referring to a man who has Ida sealed in his left arm and also bears an epitaph. The prophecy must be speaking of Ovan. It seems to be saying that Ovan is going to bring about an end to this age. Haseo just wants to go after Ovan and kick his ass. And I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Not at all.
But then things get glitchy in the Serpent of Lore. Ovan appears on the Serpent of Lore's screen. He gives them directions to an outer dungeon where he'll tell them the truth. Yatta says he will go with Haseo. However, he does not join the party. He just sort of hangs out by the Chaos Gate while you explore. Which was...
Well, what happened is
I was excited to have him in my party.
He hangs out by the I wasn't, because I put a lot of work into my equipment and my party, and I didn't want to have to re-fucking do it. No, but also though, also frankly, Yatta sucks. Like, come on, we know this. He probably is terrible in combat, even though he's played the game more than anybody. But anyway, he hangs out. Yeah, so you warp to the area, and he just is by the entrance, and he just stays there, doesn't move. And then when you get to the next floor, he's there, hanging out, not moving. And then you get to the next floor, he's there, hanging out, not moving. So presumably he's following you, but they just didn't feel like coding it in or something. So it's kind of funny. Or it's like Halo, where if you get to a checkpoint, it warps the other person to be at the same place as you. So he's just chilling and letting us do all of the work.
Also, it's sort of weird now because you are just going with a party of 3, but like canonically, all the epitaph users are doing this together.
And they're just like, whatever, we're just not gonna, it is what it is, it's video games.
Yeah. The epitaph users all go to the outer dungeon and warp through some anomalous data to the White Void. Ovan is there. He calls this place the Creator's Room. Ina is asleep in the rocking chair again. Ovan explains that this is part of the black box left in the world by its great creator. Not even the Serpent of Lore can see this place. Here lie the divine stories and all the wisdom of the world. Ovan summons a book, and Yatta is like, oh shit, is that the epitaph of Twilight? Haseo asks if there's a way to cure the lost ones. Ovan laughs. He says it's easy enough to change things, but bringing them back to the way they were is difficult.
That's a really
good line. You can't repeat the
That.
past.
Exactly. Also, of course you can. My thoughts exactly.
I had to put that in for Maddie.
Yeah.
You cannot, for example, unmix tea and milk. I'm sure a chemist could find a way.
That's the thing. His whole metaphor is like, it's like tea and milk. You can't unmix it. And I'm like, you could distill it. Actually, it is a pretty complicated process, but you can in fact do it.
But Ovan says that once Haseo removed the cause of the Ida server, the consciousness of the lost ones came back. Ovan unshackles his left arm. He says if Haseo can defeat him, there's a chance that Shino will wake up, but it is a 1 in a million chance. Ovan tells Haseo to destroy him. If Haseo wants his truth, he must take it from Ovan. After a real tough battle, Ovan yells,
tough battle.
"That's not enough." Yeah, I was using a lot of items and all my weapons and skills.
I should have lost, like, I think it racked up to like 5 times where like I was dead. I was about to hit the retry button and Adelie came over with an item and got me, and I got back up and I did it. And I only realized his like dick after I had like wasted all of my items just trying to like punch him a lot. And so it was like by the time I like realized I was in the that he has orbs that will give him shields, orbs that'll heal him, orbs that will reflect damage back.
Because this is the exact same boss as the end of Volume 2. He had orbs that healed him at the end of Volume 2.
Yeah, but I don't know why I suck, okay? I just suck.
How are you able to beat it then without understanding what was going on? I thought that was a very difficult battle, actually, back when we did it the first time.
I think it just, like, I got, like, over the course of this game, I got new, like, thingies I could do. Like, I have daggers that heal my SP, and I have a, scythe that heals my HP. I got really good at the hold and press and all these other things, and so I was too busy trying to do the battle and not do the RPG, I guess. And so I just like I didn't because in RPGs sometimes they're like, oh, one of the mooks heals them. You can either kill the mook or you can just hit them really fast. And I was hitting them really hard, but I would hit him down far enough, he would summon another one that would be the shield one. The shield would be up long enough for him to heal all the way back up. So it was just hard. It was really fun.
Yeah, I didn't have any trouble with it. I don't really know why. Maybe I was over leveled. I don't think I was over leveled, but as I was mentioning earlier, I have been really digging into the game's equipment system, so I think I was very well equipped. You mentioned how you used a lot of items. I didn't, and you know why I didn't use any items? Because I don't have any items. I am just totally like going commando in this game. Okay, I sell all of my items for money so that I can get the best possible equipment. And if it turns out, at some point, it might turn out that I just can't beat a battle, and I don't have any healing items, and that's just it for me. But so far, it hasn't happened.
I ran out of items because I gave them all to Adelie. Because I realized that your AI will also use items because like Pi joined my party for the first time in forever or something.
I realized that just now.
And she used an item and I was like, wait, you don't have any heal spells? And I'm like, oh wait. So then I just unloaded the like hundreds of healing items I had onto Adelie and I kept her in my party at all times because I needed a healer. And so it came in clutch in this Ovan fight.
Yeah, Adelie is really, really valuable in this game. Like, she really started getting a lot less shitty and a lot more good as hell.
Yeah.
Anyway, fortunately, what I'm saying is, I feel like I'm usually the one who says that the bosses are hard, but this time around, I thought it was no big deal. But I do agree that it was really fun. Like, I kept having to like, okay, so the orbs are weak to your daggers, but really you should be using your scythes, or at least that was the way I saw it, because the scythe has such a wide area of effect that no matter where you swing them, you're probably going to be hitting a couple enemies. So it was really cool to think about that kind of stuff. But of course, if you're going to use a skill, you should use your dagger skill and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it was a good time. He had his big laser. He had his area attack that he had a bit of a wind up, but once you notice it, you can get away from him. Good, pretty fun game. Pretty good game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know about that. After this very tough battle, Ovan yells, "That's not enough." He asks if that's the limit of Haseo's strength. He says, "Destroy me, devour me, tear me to bits. Use your avatar, the one who's devoured 7 of the 8. Defeat me with your fully developed avatar, your Grim Reaper, so that I can never revive again."
Yeah, the way he phrases that makes me think we're playing directly into his hand. The way that he brings up, you've consumed 7 of the 8, and he had said earlier that his plan was to gather all 8 epitaphs.
Yeah, the whole time, I mean, the whole games, he's been like, everything I'm doing is so that you'll get stronger. And now he's like, yeah, kick my ass. Again, just like I said last week, if the evil villain who you hate tells you to kick their ass, I'm going to be like, well, I was gonna, but now I don't want to. Fuck you. So yeah, we don't see what happens this game around, or this week, but yeah, I agree. It doesn't feel like that's the thing we're supposed to be doing. Also, it's very horny.
Destroy me.
I try to tell when y'all are done, but sometimes y'all aren't done. Ovan summons his avatar. It's got a giant fucked up Ida arm. Haseo says he'll do it. He summons Skaith. The fight is hard.
It's real hard, but like this real good.
This is a pretty tough one. Definitely the best. What's it called? Avatar fight. It was. Took me 2 tries, but even on the second try, actually the second try, I got owned way more than the first try. But like I managed to pull it up, and ended up winning in the end. But yeah, tough fight. Lots of moves. Had to do some fast motions and good angly bits. The time frame when you can hurt him is way less. Like he has that shield that is always up, so it's really hard to get his stamina down. Fun times. Great design. He has an enormous gun.
Yeah.
The gun is as big as he is.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was playing this part on remote play in the bed while Summer was watching dinner. She wasn't watching dinner. Jesus fucking Christ. My my brain is dumb. But so I was playing in bed while Summer was watching dinner, and I somehow made it through the Ovan fight with remote play lag, but the windows are so small here, I could not do it, and I had to take the TV back to be able to do it, because like normally they'll have like a shooty thing most of the time and you just dodge out of the way, but the Ovan's shooty thing is like the size of the whole screen, so if you don't like first couple of frames start dodging, you're still going to get wrecked, and it was really good. I really liked the fight.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. It took me a few tries. But after the fight, Skaith data drains Korbanik, Ovan's avatar. Back in the void, Ovan and Yata start talking about the rebirth. Yata says, using the terror of death as a key to trigger the resurrection. Was that your plan all along, Ovan? Everyone but Haseo and Ovan get warped away. Ovan says his goal was to save his sister, Aina, who was probably the first lost one. The Ida in his arm did that to her. He created the Twilight Brigade to look for a way to cure her. But then came Shino. ... The rebirth is a failsafe left behind by the creator of the world, a reinitialization program. But only the fully awakened terror of death can activate it. Ovan says he will now release its power throughout the internet. Ida hides throughout the entire network. This is the only way to defeat it. Haseo yells at Ovan, asking him why he never trusted him or believed in him. Ovan says he did. That's why he chose Haseo and protected and raised him like he did. Haseo responded better than he could have dreamed. Haseo is livid. He yells about all the people Ovan has hurt all this time. At this point, there sort of seems to be a disconnect between what Ovan's saying and Haseo's saying. I think they're both just sort of saying their own thing. Yeah,
they're just kind of yelling their feelings at each other. That happens in a little bit as well. Also, I gotta say, he's literally trying to do the Great Reset. Okay, so like this game, I hadn't realized how Q-pilled this game was, but it turns out. So yeah, this game predicted Q. So I don't know what that means. I don't know what to say about that.
Ovan says he found the key of Twilight. The 8 epitaph users together were for him the key of Twilight. Just as there are many truths, there are as many keys as there are thoughts in the world. Haseo is like, what the fuck does that mean? Ovan says, perhaps it's like a bluebird.
No, I won't be elaborating on that. It's like that tweet format where it's like
no further questions.
Yeah, it's like that tweet format where it's like maybe the key of Twilight is like a bluebird. Or no, it's the key of Twilight is exactly like a bluebird. Won't be reading replies to this one.
Aina descends to stand in front of Ovan. He says he can hear the preludes of awakening. The rebirth is beginning. Ovan yells for Aina to wake up as the Ida is ripped from his body. At least I think that's what's happening. Filmmaking happens.
A lot of filmmaking happens.
Haseo finds himself on the sands of a vast desert, his character glitching. He sees the shape of an enormous flying turtle ship thing with a city on its back. It's cool as hell.
Hell yeah.
Haseo wonders what happened. Where is everyone? Am I dead? Haseo's character floats in a black void. Haseo wonders what the point of all this was. Someone calls Haseo's name. It's Zelkova. He says Ovan has activated the true power of the rebirth. As an epitaph user, Haseo's character and its consciousness were heavily damaged. Having learned Ovan's truth, Haseo is on the verge of losing himself. He must ask his epitaph who Haseo is and head towards his own truth. Haseo ruminates on how his desire for revenge and power turned him into the terror of death. After Triad's data drained him, he met people he eventually came to care for. He says Shino and Alkaid, the lost ones, are still waiting for him. He said he'd see this through to the end. That's why he's here. And here's where things start to get a little more
anime.
A Haseo in white armor with dark hair appears. He taunts Haseo. He says Haseo has turned his back on the road so many times and asks if he still plans to go down it. Haseo says he'll see things through. The other Haseo says Haseo won't need him anymore. Haseo tells the other Haseo he's not letting him go. He said he'd see things through, so he's taking him with him. Haseo's character transforms. The UI informs us that Haseo has received a job extension into his final form, the X form. X.
As if this wasn't enough Kingdom Hearts.
He acquires the weapon dual guns.
Hell yes.
It's dope.
Also, I really just want to say, this scene, Bernard went past it pretty quickly, probably because what can you write about this scene? But they also do talk quite a bit, Haseo and other Haseo. And they also, again, the things they say to each other have nothing to do with each other. Like Haseo is just asking normal questions like, who are you? Or what are you doing here? Or what's going on? And the other Haseo is like, he's not saying, if the other Haseo was saying things, that'd be fine. He's just like, you've always favored that, but he's asking questions. He sounds like he's responding to questions, but with things that are just completely random. So he'll be like, oh, so you're saying you betrayed the path? And it's like, Haseo said nothing of the sort. Anyway, it reminded me of What Did Jack Do? The David Lynch short film where David Lynch talks. It's a noir where David Lynch plays a detective interrogating a monkey. That's what this reminded me of. It's
amazing.
Yeah, y'all should watch that, and that is definitely the vibe I got when watching this cutscene.
Haseo steps forward from the void and finds himself in a strange city. A robot dog walks up and welcomes him to the net slum, a pile of the world's junk data, an illegal server, not the normal the world. Haseo asks the dog if he's seen Zelkova. The dog says he thinks he was on the bridge and gives Haseo directions. Instead of going there, we go and save. Boom. Under an hour.
Under an hour. We did it.
Good job.
Yeah. So much shit fucking happened this week.
And now we get a gun. Very exciting.
Now we have guns.
Also, Haseo's new design is really good. He looks like, I don't know, a protagonist.
Yeah, not the villain. Like he has this whole.
Also, I just sent a really good meme to y'all that I just made while Bernard was talking.
For the listener,
yeah.
it is David Lynch saying, "Believe it or not, Eraserhead is my most spiritual film." Elaborate on that. No, but he's instead saying, "Believe it or not, the key of Twilight is like a bluebird." Elaborate on that. No.
Oh, that's so good. So let's listen to the Netslum Tatarga music, and then we'll talk about our memorable moments for this week. To go first?
I'll go first.
Okay, sure, you go first.
So memorable moment 1 is Yuri Lowenthal is doing a great job with all the nonsense they handed him.
He really
He's
is
really good.
Like, I think acting out nonsense is a special skill for an actor. And he's doing a great job. I'm invested even when I don't understand what's going on.
As he said in our chat, Yuri Lowenthal could probably do Shakespeare, but Olivier can't do anime.
It's true.
Yes. I was trying to think of Shakespearean actors, and my brain went to Patrick Stewart, and I was like, no, Patrick Stewart could probably do anime.
That was my exact thought. It was like, no, he definitely could do anime, though, is the thing. Can't use him as an example.
He did X-Men, all right? He can do
anime. But memorable moment number 2, I want everyone to appreciate how difficult taking notes is when things are this strange and abstract and one sentence doesn't follow the other.
Yep.
I did my best. Memorable moment number 3, the dogs. So in the net slum, there are dogs and people who have like these screens for faces, and they have like emoticon faces on them, and one of them looks like emoticon boobs, actually.
Oh yeah, I have a screenshot of that one. It does. He does look like boobs.
The end.
Awesome.
I have a couple. I will go in probably reversed order, just because that's where I'm at. When you talk with one of those people, he says his name is. They all say weird nonsense. Very Chrono Cross-ass shit. He says, a wise man once said, I think, therefore I am. But there's a question that must be raised. And then he says something else that I've missed, but something like, if everything can only exist if it's thought of, blah, 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 blah. He just starts pontificating, waxing philosophical. And then he talks about, like, the world being the way it is. And then he says, and this is verbatim, miniskirts, Johann Strauss. No, it cannot be. Which is just really good for a variety of reasons. In addition, here's some more stuff. People talking about how do you know if you're dreaming or not. We're like the dreamer, the dreams, and then lives inside the dream. Monica Bellucci. I liked when he's having his internal monologue and he's like remembering all of his friends, remembering that the key to Twilight was the friends he made along the way. And he's like, in the beginning, they just pissed me off. And the picture they picked for this is like the most annoying possible picture of Gaspard. And I'm like, yeah, he pissed me off too, man. I get it, honestly. Also, when you are having there's two really good ones from that dumb side quest that we pretty much skipped over, actually. At one point, they keep asking Haseo about the true nature of meaning of strength or whatever. And Haseo is like, the true meaning of strength at the end. And he's like, I get it now. And he's like, it's not about levels or anything. And then he says something about like, it's about your heart. But I'm like, no, it is though. It's very much
level stuff.
It's very much about levels. You are playing a role-playing game, and it is very much about levels. In addition,
this isn't Dark Souls. It's about the levels.
After you beat the those guys at the end of the dungeon, they're like, who again have way too much dialogue. They're like, darn it, we were so close, and I'm like, were you? Were you? I'm pretty sure I just fucking owned you. In addition, this dungeon has an enemy called Riverdale, so that's fun. And is this finally? Are we done? Yes, we are done. Or sorry, we're not done. We're done after these two. When we have our talk with the guy in the tournament emperor club Taihaku, yes. Also, I forgot the word guild. I said club instead. At one point when he's talking about his feelings, he says, back then I didn't even try to fill that hole. All I did was run. So it's funny because it's a double entendre. And in addition to that, he said, I just, thought that was a good one. And in a different line, this one's not a double entendre, it's just very anime. He says, he says a bunch of stuff about, like, the void in his soul. But then Haseo is like, I've learned a lot. I used to be a big jerk, and I've really softened out and started to love my friends. But then, quote, but I'm still no good when it comes to thinking about voids and feelings of powerlessness and stuff like that.
I too am no good when it comes to thinking about voids and powerlessness and stuff like that.
I found that to be simultaneously extremely anime bullshit, but also extremely relatable. So yeah, that's all I've got.
That's very good. All right, so I have a bunch from the forums. So the first one is this AppCalu post that is titled "It's Love," and the art on it is a big ol' anime Gabby holding a tiny little beast girl in a wedding dress, and it says, "I've got some big news. There's going to be wedding events in R2. I must get married to Gabby. What do you all think? Please share your thoughts." And I was like, big same. And then I scrolled down to the first comment. The first comment says, "Congratulations. Now never come here ever again."
Aww.
It's so great. So then, I had another, the forum had another quest this time where the post was called, "I found the abyss." I think I was in this little cave and I heard some voices saying stuff like, "It is not the judge," but nothing since that. It must have been the abyss, right? And we ask for the area words and we go there. And sorry, I'm remote playing my PS4 from my phone and it keeps disconnecting because my PS4 is dying.
Gotcha.
And so we, he's like, and it was really cute because he was like, "Yeah, I think it's the abyss," and everyone's like, "Oh, like where is that? What's going on?" He's like, "I'm not going to fucking tell you. Like, I found an Easter egg. I'm going to like do everything." And then Haseo's like, "Tell me the area words." He goes, "Oh shit, is this Haseo? Multiple Arena Emperor, the Terror of Death? Crap. Here, these are the area words. Okay, sorry, I just got carried away." And I think it's great. He just strong-armed this guy into getting it. That's so you go on the quest
fear into the hearts of everyone.
I wish I struck fear into the heart of literally anyone.
So you go on the quest and you get to the Beast Temple, and Full Set, the god of law, aka the Beast statue, starts talking to you. He's like, my name is Fulset, the god of law. There is a growing danger. Ceranos is trying to resurrect from the depths of the abyss. If he does, the world will be shattered in a never-ending darkness. You are the only one who can stop this. And he calls Haseo by name. You're the only one who can stand against Sternunos. Sorry, there was an extra N. And face him in battle and be his judge. Ha 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 ha. Oh wait, no, this is a new character. It says, ha ha ha, who cares what some moldy rejected god says? And it's one of those black mage looking NPCs from last time. And he goes, you guys can't be the one chosen by Fulset. But if you are, let me make things simple. And he summons a boss for us to fight. And it was like 15 levels below where I was, so I killed it in like 4 hits. But the monster's name was Death Penalty, which I thought was cool. And let's see, anything else important from that happen?
Nice.
I don't think so, but yeah, there's some shit going on with the Dark Lord and Cernunnos and whatever the fuck that is. But I also think that the forum lore and the game lore are going to intersect soon, because one of the NPCs in the Net Slum say that is Paradise, which, as you remember, was the rumor that Nuada had at the beginning of the game, that some player characters have no players, but they're still online as AIs, and they hang out in a place called Paradise. And one of the a new rumor this week was like, there's supposedly some place in the world called Paradise. I don't know where it is or how to get there, but supposedly if the quote queen gives you permission, you can get into Paradise. And maybe that's Net Slum. Maybe it's something unrelated. I have no idea. It's like completely different games going on between the forums and the game itself.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I was like, this isn't important, and then I got to the punchline of the thing. So it's in the Paradise thing.
Real quick, like, I want to ask you a question, just because if I don't, actually I'll forget.
Okay.
Just because I just remembered something I was going to ask, and I don't want to forget because my brain forgets things in like 5 seconds. Real quick, have any of y'all actually managed to beat any of the bosses to get the fully powered up lost weapons yet?
I've not attempted it.
Okay. It said they were level. Because I got Haseos to level 4 out of 5, and 5 is where you have to fight them. And at level 5, it said the suggested level was 134, and I was 112 when I unlocked it. So I have not gone back.
Yeah, so I tried it last week, and I got 10,000% owned. But this level, the level curve in this game is really steep. So I was just wondering if any of y'all had tried this week, but that's not the case. So I will just try again next week and report back. Cause I mean, I know it says 134, but like, as we've seen from most of the dungeons in this game, you can be like 10 levels under leveled and still be okay. Okay. I just thought I would ask because I forgot to try this week. But at some point I want to get that damn weapon.
Yeah. At least one of them, just to say we did.
Yeah.
But so in the Paradise Rumors forum, there's things like, what's Paradise supposed to be? The first thing that pops into my head is flowers blooming everywhere, and this guy saying, I am the Lord God, with light shining behind him, and my grandpa telling me, come here, boy. And I thought that was a great little paragraph there.
That's cute.
And then let's see. Someone in that same forum pops up and says that the queen is apparently a hacked PC named Helba, and that could be important later. Who fucking knows? But I don't remember taking this one, but it's hilarious. So there's another one post in AppCali where someone is like, hey, I think we should like greet people more in the game, and so I want to start a guild where we just hang out in front of the Chaos Gate and welcome people to playing the world. And everyone's like, yeah, that's a great idea. And at the bottom of it, this guy's like, Nice to meet you, Matsuda. Abs, abs, abs. I'll give your movement a shot too. And just, I love to exclaim abs, abs, abs. Oh, and then, as discussed last week, the Apkalu forum is horny as hell, and that does not stop from keep happening this week. So the picture is of the King Chim Chim sitting on a player character.
Actually, that's funny. Funny you mentioned that. Real quick, I was in that guild in Kingdom of Loathing. Do y'all know about Kingdom of Loathing?
Oh yes, I know about Kingdom
there
of
was
Loathing.
it wasn't actually a guild, but there was a noobs chat, a chat just for noobs before you gain access to the rest of the chat rooms. But a lot of players that were more experienced players made a point of staying in the noob chat to help out the noobs. And it was a pretty consistent stable of people, veterans who would be in the noob chat. And that's what I did with my time. And it was really fun. It's really fun, hanging out with people who aren't noobs, but that are the same every time. But they're all really nice because everyone's just there to be nice and help noobs. So yeah, pretty realistic thing.
Yeah, I really want to play West of Loathing.
Me too. It's weird that I haven't played it now for years. Sorry to y'all, people who made that game, for still not having played it.
Yeah, so in Apkalu, the picture is of King Chim Chim sitting on a player character, and the caption says, Tadaomi went and drew a picture of me without asking, so I'm going to draw a picture of him too. Tadaomi likes getting stepped on. It turns him on. That's why he's always getting stomped by King Chim Chim. I have no idea why he thinks that's so interesting. And it made me giggle. But then someone is like, wow, that's a great picture or whatever. And his response was, I'll try getting stepped on, but I think I like doing the stepping more. Don't you lie. Nobody gets stomped that much unless they like it. And it was great and stupid and horny. And that's all. Are you doing lots of
quotes? Is that what you're doing? Are you doing quotes?
No, all caps.
Every time you talk weird like that?
It's all
okay,
caps.
All caps. Okay. I couldn't visualize what you were doing. Got it. I got it. Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, that was my adventures on the forums this week. The forums are a lot better this game than the other ones. It doesn't feel like a chore reading through them like it kind of did last game. But yeah, that's all that I've got. Anyone else have anything else they want to say before we all go and keep playing this game? Because
nope.
Like we beat the main bad guy this week, and we still have 10 hours of game left. So. And we have 10 hours of this game left and then a whole nother game.
So are we playing next week?
Sam, are we playing the rest of the game or are we doing 2 more episodes?
I think we're doing 2 more episodes. Let me go and look that up real quick. Thank you for reminding me. I've been really bad about this on every episode for both games we're playing lately. But
people have been going through a lot the last few months.
People are very stressed these days.
I was just thinking that.
Is that the line? I can never remember exactly how the line goes.
People are under a lot of stress, I think, is the line. It might have a these days at the end.
As long as you knew what I was talking about.
I knew what you're talking about. No, you were conflating it with the room line. People are very strange these days.
That's it. Yes,
yeah.
That's it. People are very strange these days, though.
People are very strange these days.
Okay.
I saw your post in the host chat about topical event.
Yep. Here's oh no, you go on.
Oh no, it's fine. I'm mostly just talking to myself.
Oh, the line from Twin Peaks: The Return is one character says, "What the fuck kind of neighborhood is this?" And the other character says, "People are under a lot of stress, Bradley." That's the line.
Yes. God, what a good season of television.
So, yeah, it looks like we're going to beat the game.
Hell yes.
Yeah, the guide says there are two chunks left. Like, is the guide has it like broke off into 5 chapters, and we'd be technically be doing 5 chapters, or 2 chapters this next week. But I just looked at the end of the chapter titled "Second Wave's Aftermath," and it ends at the credits. So then the last little thing is just the epilogue of this game, which we're not going to do a whole episode for just the epilogue. So it might be a little beefy, but it doesn't look that bad. So we're just going to beat the game. Mm-hmm. So now I will answer the question you asked earlier and use movie magic to make it all splice together. Yes, Maddie, we are going to beat the game this week. And awesome. Then we will immediately dive into chapter 4, the brand new chapter for this thing, and supposedly it's even better than this one, which is I'm
guessing that's like 2 episodes, right? Or 1?
Yeah, one or 2. I hear it's not very long, but yeah. So then we'll be done with our first season of Longcast, and it's wild because I feel like we've been doing this for a bajillion years.
Hell yeah!
Fucking finally.
That reminds me, let's see how close we are to unlocking The Last of Us. It is probably not that close. We are at 65%. So if you want to hear more long casts and short casts and everything, go and donate to us, and we will unlock more. What were you about to say, Maddie?
Oh, I was going to say, on one hand, obviously I shouldn't say don't give us your money because we love it when you give us your money. On the other hand, you know what? I'm looking forward to having a bit of a break.
Me too.
Between having to play 2 games at once. So I'm looking forward to the break, but that will be some amount of time between now and The Last of Us. Though that doesn't mean if someone just wants to donate the rest of it right now, that's, sure, you can do that if you want to. I'll only cry a little bit. Also, The Last of Us fucking rules and doesn't take that long to play, so yeah.
Yeah, like if somebody unlocks the Last of Us right away, they still won't be unlocking Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah. So right I still get a break after The Last of Us.
We still get a break after The Last of Us.
Yep.
But again, if somebody out there wants to just throw $1,000 our way, so we have to do Last of Us and immediately into Final Fantasy 13, that is fine too.
I will be mad if you do that. Now, if you want to make me mad, that's fine. I'm just letting you know I will officially be mad if you do that.
But if you would like to donate $1,000 to the podcast, you can do so at www.rpgbook.club, where you can vote on what games we're playing next on our main podcast. If you are listening to this chronologically, the vote is up right now between 2 PSP games. But if you are listening to this evergreen, as we tend to do these, then this time has no meaning. But there are also links to all of our socials. Mainly our Twitter and our Discord are the ones where we are the most active. And shout outs to everyone in the Discord. They rule. They are babies. And I cherish them so much. For RPG Book Club, I have been Sam Allman.
I'm Maddie Grace Webben.
I'm David Bernard Hauk.
Toodaloo.
Bye.
Been how many years and y'all don't have a sign off?
We used to say bye. We used to say bye in like cute ways that have to do with the game we're playing. Like we quote things. So like that was our sign off, and we did a good job of it. But lately we just haven't had the energy to do it, to think of things to say.
It is,
and technically, Toodaloo is a reference to Persona 3. So that
one is technically a reference. Yes.
Yeah, we have had a persistent one for a while.